Hello Pokemon Master, my name is Burky and hey, thank you for clicking on my video, welcome. Welcome to another Pokemon Theory. Yeah, I'm back doing Pokemon Theories pretty regularly. When a new game comes out like Sword and Shield did a few months ago, suddenly you've got so much more to work with and there are so many little missable details and hidden things and stories that I think the developers probably wove into the background to help flesh out some of their more important characters and to help kind of bring to life some of the region. I think it's very clear when writing games, when writing stories, movies, when characters are one-dimensional and when they've really been thought about. And some of the characters here have really deep hidden backstories, like Chairman Rose. Chairman Rose is an interesting one because he is rich, he is powerful, and he has basically taken over the Galar region. He has an organization that works under him called Macrocosmos, and they are essentially the League officiators. They're kind of the top notch, the upper ring of the League officiators. He's got Eliana, who's kind of like his work spouse that works with him. She seems very dedicated to him. And these people together, they kind of, yes, they have a lot of important schedules. They have a lot of meetings to keep. They are clearly a group of very busy, very elite, very rich people who essentially have taken over the Galar region, but it wasn't always like this for Chairman Rose. There's actually missable details that kind of allude to not only his backstory, but how it now ties in with the new DLC coming out. So today I just want to take a look and answer the question, how did Chairman Rose get so rich and where did he come from? By the way, Pokemon theories like this are only possible thanks to those of you who talk about them. Thanks to those of you who are having conversations with friends, talking about Pokemon theories and sharing them with friends. So I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who leave likes and comments. Every time you leave a like, it just helps the YouTube algorithm and helps other people see my videos, which of course I really appreciate, and hopefully they find something that they're a fan of. Hopefully you enjoy these as well. So seriously, thank you for everyone who's leaving likes, and thank you to everyone who's commenting. I obviously would like as many people as possible to see my theories because I think they're good and I think this is an actual backstory. I think this is part of the story that Game Freak has written. So, Chairman Rose, rich, powerful dude, seems to be in charge of the whole of the, Galar League. Basically the Gym Challenge and Championship. They all seem to be almost unified under one branch or one organization, and Chairman Rose runs that. There's Rose Tower that Chairman Rose has built. It is said that he kind of built the Hammerlock Stadium and he's managed to provide energy to the town of Hammerlock, as well as much of the other regions. But how is he doing that? How has that all worked out? At the end, you learn that he's wanting to harness the power of Eternatus, causing another Darkest Day to give the region power for 1,000 years, which is really good motivation, but terrible, terrible execution, and ultimately he ends up going to prison at the end of the game. Once you get to the end of the game, there's only really one more thing you can learn about Chairman Rose, and that is from Eliana, who's hanging around in one of the mines of Galar. The mines of Galar, by the way, are very important. It seems that towns like Motorstoke were basically built on the back of an industrial revolution, something that we actually had here in the UK, where kind of metals and minerals and coal and, you know what, I actually don't know that much about the Industrial Revolution. But given that we have two big landmarks in the Galar region, two very important mines, and actually you have like Carcoal and Roly-Coly that are mine-based Pokemon, it's clear that there is a massive importance between mines and digging for minerals and digging for energy and resources that is integral to this region. And that's where Chairman Rose comes in. Because according to Eliana, Rose used to be a miner in the region. He used to be part of the laboring, hands-on workforce. Seems almost impossible to imagine now. You couldn't imagine Chairman Rose in that suit, in that outfit, getting down there with a pickaxe or doing whatever it is that miners do. Again, I have no knowledge outside of Pokemon. Nothing about the industry, nothing about Industrial Revolution. I have no clue. You imagine nowadays Chairman Rose would pay someone else to do that stuff for him. But so how did he make that transition from like the hard-working labor force of the region right up to the most powerful guy in the region in terms of money and resources? Well, my answer would be that rather than just digging randomly throughout the region, he was probably searching specific things that he knew was going to help bring him wealth and power. For example, quite early on in the game, we learned that Chairman Rose basically built a factory that is sadly inaccessible. It's like a power plant, and that, if you look at where the train tracks for it are, leads straight into one of the mines of Galar. Seems likely that Chairman Rose dug upon a great well of energy underground and used this as one of his kind of factories throughout the region to produce power. And that would have been his first step on that ladder towards kind of region-wide domination. But what kind of energy would that be? Well, of course, we're going to be looking at Dynamax energy. Chairman Rose, definitely familiar with the wild area. After all, his main ace Pokemon, Caparaja, evolves from Kufan, and that can only be found in the wild area. And as we certainly know by the end of the game, he's very familiar with Dynamax energy. I mean, that is essentially what he's trying to dig up at the end, the ultimate source of Dynamax energy, hidden underneath the castle of Hammerlock. And as a matter of fact, in the game, we even see a little infographic of the kind of the Hammerlock Stadium and how the tower provides energy to the region, and it's because of an energy and a power plant that's underground, likely dug up and built, maybe even discovered by Chairman Rose. If in his days as a miner he discovered this large spherical object containing Eternatus deep underground, and he built a laboratory kind of around it, plugging wires into it, as we can see from the cracked shell that Eternatus was in, and ultimately drawing energy from that sphere, he would then become kind of, I guess, the main guy in charge of that and responsible for that, and suddenly profiting off that when he's able to give energy out to Galar. We also know that in the modern day region of Galar, Professor Magnolia has technology that allows you to kind of pinpoint the location of I guess, spikes in Gigantamax energy and Dynamax energy. This is used in the post-game to detect where Pokemon are just going rampantly Gigantamax. And perhaps working in conjunction with Magnolia, who we know that Chairman Rose knows in the game, he was able to locate the locations of all of today's gyms. The gym challenge has gone back a long time in Galar's history. In fact, Opal's took over from her mother from the gym 70 years ago. So we know the gyms have been around for a long time, but something you notice about the gyms in Galar that is different to any other gym in any other region is that they all look the same. They've all been recently renovated to be identical. All of them apart from Spikemuth, and interestingly enough, Spikemuth would be the only place that wasn't renovated because as a pre-existing gym, it was the only place that didn't have this energy underneath the gym. And we know there's this energy under the gym, that's why you can only Gigantamax during gym battles. And one of the only other locations you can Gigantamax Pokemon in the game is Rose Tower, another location owned by Chairman Rose. Clearly, Chairman Rose is very good at locating and detecting these spots of Gigantamax energy and building structures around them. Building and investing into building stadiums where spectators can come, sit down, watch the best of the best battle with giant Pokemon, and just taking a little bit of the profit every single time. You can see how Chairman Rose will go from being a miner, but maybe an experienced miner who can detect these things, to being someone who would be very rich, in charge of the whole system, and ultimately the most powerful guy in the region, just taking those investments, taking revenue from those seat tickets, which if you know anything about real world football, which again, another subject that I do not, you would know there's a lot of money in it. So that's how he went from a miner to someone very, very powerful. But the real question is, how would he know about Dynamax energy, Gigantamax energy underground? How would he know where to look? And that's where the DLC comes in. There are 2 Pokemon DLCs coming out this year. It's in 2 parts. There's the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. The Isle of Armor, you are led around it by a character called Mustard, who is kind of like your guide to that part of the DLC. And the Crown Tundra, there is someone, but they are currently unnamed. It is presumably, because they kind of made it a big point of focusing on this guy in the trailer, it is this dude. This guy is going to be your guide around the Crown Tundra and going underground into raid dens. Which is definitely a nod to Sinnoh remakes. But anyway, that's besides the point. This happy chappy with his big smiley face is someone who works underground and can help guide you around Dynamax Pokemon dens, and he probably knows a lot about what the inside of a raid den actually looks like. He probably has a lot of knowledge and experience that he's going to pass on to you, much like he did to his son, Chairman Rose. I mean, just look at these guys. Look at them next to each other. Tell me you don't see it. Yes, okay, the dad, the person I'm claiming to be the dad, his skin is darker, but that's literally just a genetic thing. If Chairman Rose's mother was white, then you would have that would make sense. Take that away. Look at their eyes. Look at their facial hair, which, okay, that's not a genetic thing, but look at them. They're the same. They are related. And this tells a whole new story. Yes, I think we're gonna learn a whole lot about Chairman Rose's backstory, but there's something here already. Chairman Rose is incredibly rich and powerful. You'd think if he had a family that he would probably put them up somewhere quite nice, maybe in the city of Winden. You wouldn't expect his parents to maybe be out there still kind of doing the manual labor thing, going exploring, working, unless his parents had like a different philosophy to him. You can tell that this guy with his happy smile and his expertise out there doing stuff that he loves is in a very different position than Chairman Rose, someone who probably just like pays a bunch of people while he keeps accumulating power. The dynamic is very different there. There's a philosophical difference between these two characters. And there is one other thing we know about Chairman Rose. He's got a soft spot for orphans. He had a soft spot for Bede throughout the games. In the new Twilight Wings kind of like mini-series, you see him interacting with an orphanage. Like, why would he do that stuff? Clearly, there is some kind of friction or difficulty. Maybe Chairman Rose was made an orphan himself. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is yet, and I'm hoping we'll learn more about it. But I think there is some kind of friction between Chairman Rose and his father. We don't know anything about Chairman Rose's mother as far as I can tell currently. But it would have been during this time when their relationship was good that Chairman Rose would have learned everything about raid dens and how to define them in the underground from his father in the Crown Tundra. And then when he moved into mainland Galar, that is where he used that knowledge as a miner to discover Eternatus, hidden underground, and create a lab around him, giving power to the region. It was ambitious and it was skillful, but sadly, Chairman Rose's ambitions, even with his kind of positive motivations of trying to give power to the region kind of everlasting, was a little bit too ambitious, and he flew too close to the sun and ultimately released Eternatus. This getting him arrested, and I want to know more about how his father feels about that in the DLC. So look out for that backstory. That is the theory. That is what's going on. I'm sure of it. You're gonna have to let me know what you think about this in the comments, and of course talk about it with other Pokemon fans, with other Pokemon masters. Like I say, talking about theories, I mean, that's the kind of thing that got me to even start this channel in the first place, was me talking about theories with other people and then wanting to talk about them with you. And every time you do, every time you leave a comment, every time you watch to the end of the video, every time you leave a like, it makes the YouTube robots go, hey, this guy's pretty cool, and it helps more people see my videos, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll hopefully have another theory for you very, very soon, and of course, so hi Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!
And a particular Pokemon Master thank you to all of my big patrons this month, including the Nerd Therapist. Thank you.